Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of On Point. This episode is, again, with the bro guys, and it's me and Trent sitting down having a good conversation about what I consider to be backcountry versus what he considers to be backcountry. And this has actually been a question that I've seen asked on a forum now, coincidentally, after we recorded this, and it's just a great topic. You know, because it's something that isn't like a set standard, right? Everybody has their own idea of what backcountry means, and I was shocked by Trent's answer, and I kind of make fun of myself towards the end about how bad I am and how big of a sissy I am in the woods. And so, you know, everybody's got their own starting point. Everybody has their own idea of what backcountry really means to them, and yeah, it just made for a really fun. Obviously, Trent, he's always fun. Great episode to listen to and a lot of laughs. So. Good question, guys. Leave a comment and a review if you have an idea. What do you think backcountry is to you? Is it 2 miles? Is it 5 miles? Is it sleeping outside the truck? What is backcountry to you? Leave me a review with a comment on whatever platform you're listening to, and that would be a great way to spark a conversation and get an idea. So outside of that, guys, appreciate you for listening, and I will see you at the end. Bye.
Do you want this one?
Me? No, I put all my stuff in post-production.
Ooh.
I'm fancy.
Fancy pants.
Yeah. Hey, I've got over 100 episodes.
100 episodes. I don't even know what that looks like.
Where are you guys at? Do you even know?
Idea.
That's okay.
No idea. No, I have no clue. I just enjoy doing them. So, and then I just submit the footage to our two editor guys, and then they post it up.
You know, the last podcast you and I started, it started with a bunch of laughs. So it's fitting that this one started with a bunch of laughs, too.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back, guys. Born and Raised Audio Experience here, brought to you by Onyx Hunt. I need to say that every single time because they actually are paying for this podcast.
Really?
Yes, they are.
I'm just gonna choose a sponsor because I don't have any.
You're gonna choose one?
DQ $6 meal deal, chicken strip basket, guys.
How they've been doing for you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Decent.
You can upgrade your Sunday to a Blizzard for $1.
Just for $1.
Just for $1.
Someone was saying the other day, I saw a post or something. Blizzards aren't cheap.
Wes. It was like $6 something.
Was it Wes? Yeah, that's what it was.
For a Blizzard.
That's it.
You don't have to pay that. Just get the $6 meal deal. You get chicken strips, buffalo sauce. You got to get the buffalo sauce.
Gotta have it.
You know, not all Dairy Queens are similar. You can get some with Coke products, some with Pepsi products.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Man, just think of what they're going to get off this. Just think. Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to start doing that at the beginning of mine. Just rip
it off.
Next will be Me Undies. I'll take that one from Joe Rogan.
Those are comfy. You ever had a pair?
I've never. Have you?
I don't. No comment. No
comment.
No, I'm a Tommy John guy. You ever wore a pair of Tommy Johns?
No, I'm like on the And One train and the.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hanes.
The Hanes. Yes.
I got a pair of those too, but. My mom bought me some Tommy Johns. Oh, Lordy.
Aren't those expensive?
I think so.
Really? High end?
Sure. Well, every Christmas she buys me a pair, so I've got like 3 pairs now.
You say you're not a gear guy.
Yeah, exactly. And you can wear those for like weeks on end. So you got pretty much a fresh pair for a month.
I don't know why I have so many boxers when you wear them 5 days a week.
That's what I'm saying. No, we want to jump on here, guys, and just reminisce a little bit. We were talking earlier. That's the thing about when two buddies meet up. It's just like, oh, you guys want to do a podcast? Yeah. And so then when we meet up, we just start sitting there and how was your hunt and how did this go and everything. And pretty soon we're covering everything for a podcast.
That's true.
Just by BS and back and forth. But anyway, we were going to talk about different hunting styles.
Yeah.
2 ends of the spectrum, like Garrett was talking earlier. He said, you know, his hunting style is primarily
day
hunting.
Day hunting, coming out every day.
Yeah.
Sleeping at camp.
Yeah, and I'd love to like talk about the benefits of that, and then and maybe the downfalls a little bit, but not.
I noticed some downfalls of it this year.
You did.
I did, and we'll get into that later. But there was definitely some hindsight trying to like what can I do better.
Right.
There were some scenarios that I definitely could have done better if I was a stay the night guy.
Whatever, backpack in, whatever. Let's call it bivvy hunting.
Bivvy hunting. I have a bivvy. I've never even used it.
They look cool, don't they?
I was like, first of all, I'm like, oh, I finally got a bivvy, and I was so excited because I wanted to see what a bivvy actually was. I had no idea what it was.
You and me both.
It's like a super like small sleeping bag, basically, right?
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Is it what to do? Keep the bugs off you?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I have no idea. I was back. I'm the same way as you were, but this I'm take about quite a few years back. You know, in this bivvy hunting came out, and it's just like, no way, bivvy hunting. And so it's just like there's this thing called a bivvy sack, and I'm like researching, as much research as I normally do, which is calling your buddy and asking, hey, what the hell's a bivvy sack?
Right.
So anyway, it's just a sack that zips around your sleeping bag that's supposed to be waterproof.
Oh, okay.
That's all it was.
Here's my knowledge. I thought you were supposed to sleep inside of it.
Supposed to, but no. That's
why I thought it was like a super lightweight sleeping bag.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good to know.
I
was thinking, what the hell is this thing gonna do? Keep the bugs off me? So I throw it inside my little pouch with my shelter, Jimmy Tarp shelter, and I'm like, maybe it's for like summer use.
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, there goes my knowledge into your realm.
See, you
doesn't go very far.
You could have been light years ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
No,
Gonna learn today.
I do a tent. I'm a tent guy. I like to have my own. It's my place of peace. A little shelter and something that's just not right on my face, because there's a lot of times that we get in there when we're quote unquote bivvy hunting or whatever you want to call it, backpack hunting, and it'll pour down rain and you can't film. So when it's just pouring down rain and snow, you just sit in your tents. So there's been times that we've been sitting in our tents most of a whole day.
Really?
Just sit there
just
for
so you
hours.
Protect
and
the camera
and
gear.
Hours. Yeah, because if you screw up a camera, you're 7 miles
there
in. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What's the point of us being? Obviously it's for obviously for fun and camaraderie and to try to shoot an elk, but at the same time it's like we're trying to make we're trying to show people.
What do you do on a day that you just hang out and camp all day? Where I'm like, maybe drinking a beer,
right?
Back at actual camp.
That sounds so good.
Having a good time. Maybe taking a warm shower.
No, you don't shower during elk season. You don't want to wear off the
shower. What's that?
Yeah, what's that? No. That'll be like what's different in my pack than yours. Mm-hmm. So, the first year we did it, I actually had this thing called a journal. You ever heard of one of those? I had
something
not.
you write in?
Yeah, I had not. I'm not a big journal guy, if that surprises you.
Dear diary.
My wife, exactly. My wife conned me into, she's like, you need to just document about it. Nobody's done, I don't think, 5 different states hunting every day. And so I'm like, okay. So I did it and never opened it since. It's somewhere, but actually every day I would write in it and do that. So did that. I have taken little, the tiny little Bible versions of the New Testament, the tiny little that they hand out, taken that in there with me.
Really?
Yeah.
You just read like...
Yeah, just random read,
chapter.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're awesome, chapters to read, and stuff. So I've done that before. Sometimes, if it's pouring down rain, we'll usually take somebody's, tarp or whatever and make something and then make a fire and stuff. That way you have the community side of things too. And you can still, sit down outside and BS with your buddies and stuff. But a lot of times, sometimes it'll just be this everybody's setting up tents in as fast as they can because you're getting so, how those September storms are. Yeah. They can come down. And so anyway, it's one of the, some people would say it's the best, it's so neat to, this part. I'm not a big fan of the rain as far as on a hunt. So
yeah,
because it seems to shut the elk down too. So
that's what I've noticed. Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now that I hunted with a buddy this year who is into the backpacking stuff, and I learned some game changers.
Nice.
For food wise.
Okay.
So what he does is he carries, and so, but this is actually kind of a day strategy too.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it next year. So I got to buy a vacuum sealer, but he would hard freeze these vacuum packed things of chicken fettuccine or whatever it may be. And then he'd put it in his jet boil and then he'd boil it up for 5 minutes and it would be like you just made it.
Heat it up.
Yeah.
But that's only good if you're day hunting and you have...
Well, I mean, I don't know how long it would stay. I mean, it probably
should still stay. If you suck sealed it, it should stay for at least 3 to 5 days.
Perfect. Yeah. So he was eating like a freaking king out there on the side of the mountain because we're I don't know how far we were back there, but he was eating like a king. I was jealous. I'm like, I'm doing that next year because he was having homemade chicken fettuccine, one of my favorite dishes.
And you're over here just
going. And then the next day it was something else amazing. I'm like, you got it figured out.
Got it dialed.
Yeah. And so, there's definitely, I think your way lends probably to getting in less pressured areas.
Yes and no. I mean, let's define the backcountry, right? Cody and I argue about this all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't tell me what side of the fence he's on. So
don't tell you?
yeah, I want to see if we're on the same page on this one.
Okay.
So backcountry to me
Okay, this should be good.
is anything that involves you not being able or willing to hike your butt out to camp would be backcountry. So maybe there's
give me a time allotment though. I mean, what do you've got to be obviously
backcountry
get
a
back.
day. Like if you have to
So
hike
if you can't get back in a day, you're backcountry.
If you have to make multiple trips,
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Okay, a day. If it's a day's worth of work to get back, because it can't be a distance.
That's a jaunt because you could go
pretty far.
Pretty far. You can cover 14 miles roughly. I mean, if you're,
maybe I'm a
trail
super
hiking,
hardcore backpacker.
You are
and don't even know it,
dude. And you're a day hunter. I don't understand it.
Well,
so you're just day hunting 14 miles. Is what you're saying? Wow, that's impressive.
It can't be a mileage thing because I can cover 21. We covered 21 miles on a bike one day.
Well, okay, yeah, bikes are a different story. All right.
But what if you're just walking roads and it's,
you can cover some ground.
Yeah, you can cover a lot of ground.
Oh yeah.
For me, backcountry means, if I'm not willing to hike out, that to me is backcountry.
Backcountry to me is 4 or 5 feet off that road. If you want to go pitch a tent behind the nearest tree that you see over there across the meadow, you're backcountry.
Really?
Sure, why not?
Can you justify that?
Every time, yeah. I'm in the backcountry, and it sounds cooler, way cooler to tell people.
Sure.
Where were you guys hunting this year? Well, we hunted backcountry for the first, couple weeks.
Yeah.
And they just look at you like, whoa, that guy's legit.
Well, then I hunted out of my truck.
Exactly. Little did he know. I should have been in my truck doing the beer drinking thing that you were talking about when it rained.
Oh, yeah.
No, but Cody says anything over 5 miles is Cody's.
So he has actual...
He's got a mileage thing.
But then is that walking miles, biking miles,
no,
flying,
walking.
Horseback?
I guess,
canoeing or kayaking miles?
I wouldn't even say as the crow flies. I would say the easiest path back to civilization, 5 miles. I don't know even that. I don't know.
I don't agree with that. Because
we need to talk to him next time.
Because there's plenty of hunts over in Eastern Oregon that you can go 5 miles behind a gate and then easily come back out.
Oh yeah.
We were doing 8-mile trips in the wilderness over in Eastern Oregon.
Right.
And coming back out. I'm just making big loops.
Oh yeah.
Right? We have one truck on the top, one truck on the bottom.
And that's exactly what we do in the quote-unquote now backcountry is we just make big loops. We start out like from the truck and just make a giant circle. Sometimes, depending on what canyons and what the topography looks like, you obviously can't just make a direct circle, but something of that nature is what we normally hunt. And then if we haven't found in that circle what we want, we're headed back to the truck to move spots. Anyway.
Really? Mm-hmm. God, I wish Cody was here to defend himself on his stance here, because 5 miles doesn't seem that far, but in like 5 miles in, let's just say Mount Emily or Hell's Canyon or something.
5 miles in Colorado at 10,500 feet.
That's a long way.
It's a long way.
Do you get away from people going in 5 miles in?
That's the whole thing that I was getting at is now you're quote unquote backcountry. Everybody does it. So it's just like this. If you'll notice like our videos from 3 years ago, let's say, to last year, maybe even the year before, it's like there's that zone where you can cover way more ground and still pretty much like you day hunt. Mm-hmm. Come back to the trucks at night and just like last year, I had Colorado. Packed in for 8 days or something like that into Colorado. New Mexico, we were camping every single day back at camp. I mean,
You're camping
meals.
Back at camp.
Yeah, we're coming back to camp
at
the truck, at the tents, at the everything. Yeah, and I mean, as far as that goes, backcountry wise, quote unquote, probably did it for half the season, probably last year.
5 miles.
That's in his opinion.
Yeah,
but we were always usually 5 miles from anything.
I bet his 5 miles aren't like. I bet they're like hardcore 5 miles.
Dude, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 5 miles
straight
over
up
on the coast,
straight down.
Whew, without roads, at 5 miles up the coast, might as well be an eternity.
You couldn't make it all. You couldn't even make it a day sometimes.
No.
Yeah. No. Okay.
No,
not on the coast. But yeah, that's the definition. So where we hunted in, like when Cody killed his big bull years ago in Colorado, and Ty killed a big bull, that was like 7.5 miles in, something like that.
That's a long ways.
Dude, it's a long ways. And so, that took us all of us, hauled that bull out. Anyway, it took 4 or 5 of us most of the day to get that bull out.
So bone in, bone out.
Bone out, definitely. If it's anything, we got a rule. If it's anything over a mile, you take out the bones.
How do you hang your meat without bone?
You don't.
Okay.
Hang your meat with the bone on, and then when you're ready to pack it out, that's when you bone it out.
So what?
That would be my
Back
preference.
to camp.
So in our instances, when you get out and you hit the trailhead, you throw that in the pickup and you're headed straight to the cooler.
That makes sense.
And then you're headed right back to that trailhead to hike your stinking
What
idiotic
about cooler's
butt
like
right
2
back
hours
in.
away?
And then you're you're 5 hour.
I'd make the guy
That's
that
what
shot
it
it go
usually
drive.
is. It usually is
2 hours. Yeah.
Usually everybody's so jacked to go in to get that hamburger and that beer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We made 2 special trips into town, and we got our butts kicked both mornings. And by the time we get back into town, it's like lunch, and we were just so thrilled to have like a burger that you didn't have to make yourself.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Right? Yeah.
And that's too. That's one of my favorite things as far as the hunting thing goes for me is to be able to hunt these other states. The hunting side of it, yeah, that's one thing. But to go to these different places and to meet these different people in Colorado and Wyoming and New Mexico, all these different like cultures a little bit. Like in Mexico, where we're at, you'd be having these burrito shacks and these. It's just a whole different culture than let's say Wyoming, where it's cold as heck, and there's cowboys all over the place, and it's just so neat to see those kind of things that sometimes coming into town, no matter how big or small the town is, it's just as much fun as going in and hunting to me anymore. I really enjoy that.
That would be cool. We went over into a tiny little town, and I'm like, oh man, like no one's going to be caring about a mask over here. And then they were like the strictest little town I've ever
really?
been in. Yo, dude, I was like, what is going on here? Everybody was so strict.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, I'll partake, but
You outsiders.
Yeah, I know. Well, some of them were like, you're not from around here, are you? I'm like, oh, yeah, no. How'd you know? I'm like, oh, we just knew. I was like, well, I don't know if that. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
I don't know.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, that's it is neat to go and see the culture in other places and just. I've said it 1,000 times. Like Wyoming has some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Just the most giving people, and it's every time I go to that state, it seems like I'm just blessed with just good people. It's awesome.
If I had to move to a state, it would probably be Wyoming. Less people per capita or whatever. It's like
biggest state with a small amount of people.
That's what it is, and some of the best hunting.
Some of the best hunting in the country.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
I've heard the stories. I've heard the local guys' stories.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 170. Oh yeah, we passed that up.
We're passing that.
Are you kidding me?
Why'd you kill it, Dink?
yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah, I think he's still got milk on his lips.
Yeah,
he's like a 170-inch buck. Yeah, it's crazy. Those guys are very blessed to live over there.
They see some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. If I ever win the lottery, you might have to call me and I'll be in a Wyoming area code.
We'll podcast over there.
Sure.
I'm all in. Give me a helicopter. I'll come on out. I will come on out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so differ from. So have you ever backcountry, quote unquote? Have you ever spent the night on your back?
Well, your backcountry where I'm like,
yeah, oh yeah, anything like I'm just saying, taking your camp, your food, and all your all your belongings, and going away from the truck and spending a night.
No, never
have.
Never.
That's awesome.
Never had to. Though as well.
No. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Don't get me wrong.
You know what? But I'm also a little crazy in the fact that I will walk 14 miles in a day. Mm-hmm. Like I'm fine with that. Like we killed a buck 5 miles from camp, and it was a heck of a time getting him back to camp because it was all uphill. Mm-hmm. And like man, it should be nice just to be able to pitch a tent right here. But at the same time, everything's back at camp. Your cot, wood stove, everything. Like I like my creature comforts, and the more comfortable I am, the harder I hunt. And so, it's kind of like that. Is it the Remy Warren? Build a fire if you're cold, if you're hungry, eat kind of mentality. I think that's him. That is 100% me. Like if I get a good night's sleep and I'm comfortable and I'm happy and I am hard to keep up with. I will tell you that. But at the same time. If I'm like on an extended hunt, I also know that energy needs to equal results, and so I conserve energy when I'm back there. Yeah, so too many years in a row I've gone out just full blast, and in 2-3 days I'm tired. We went to Idaho 3 years ago, and 10 miles in Idaho is quite a bit. We were doing 10 to 12 a day.
That's a lot.
And after four days, I'm like, I'm exhausted. And so I hunted a small, flatter area and did 7 miles that day. But it was like,
good.
Man, Idaho kicked my butt. And so long story short, I was on a hunt this year. We were, 11 miles in on bikes, and then we had bulls bugling down in the bottom of a mini Hell's Canyon. It was probably like a 1,500-foot drop.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I told those guys, like, dude, let's go. I'm like, I'm not going because, first of all, there's elk up on. I'm like
that's
that guy.
backcountry, dog.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, there's elk on top. Second of all, I don't know how big that bull is.
Bird in the hand.
Third of all, he's probably going to shut up when we get down there, just knowing how this hunt's gone. So you guys can go. I'm going back.
First time you didn't chase a bugle.
It was like, if I wasn't so worried about conserving energy because I had to come out and I could have stayed in there, probably, and who knows if we would have got into that. I guarantee we would have got in on him because he was in the bottom,
right.
And it was a very
he knew where
small,
he was at.
And so, that's one where I felt bad because those guys wanted to go that extra little bit, but I'm like, I'm here for like 20 days.
Yeah.
That's an area, a very rare scenario for me where I'm like, I'm not willing to actually go after a bugle because there's elk in other areas that are easier to get to. I don't know how big he is, and plus this is a marathon, and I'm not willing to sprint on this day.
On this day?
Yeah, after a bull. A mystery bull is what I called it.
And I think that's a viable. I totally agree with what you're saying. Totally. But Dirk and I have argued this same point, because he didn't do the backpack hunting at all until the last 2 years. Yeah, the last year was the first one he did with me, and then he went again this year with me. And he's not a giant fan of it. Dirk's a guy that like every day, when you get packed up, like our style is like you grab everything. First, you start with your sleeping bag, stuff it in your bag. Stuff everything. He's got bags for bags, and he has bags that go inside of bags, and everything's all pretty much, and it all fits in his pack the same way. And he's that guy about it, which is totally awesome. But yeah, and we got to the talking this year. It's just like has it like helped us a ton. Because like what he would do before with Corey and Donnie is like Wyoming, and I've hunted some of the same country that they day hunt, and I'm like, why? Because they'd get clear back in there to the elk, and then right about the time it got dark, you're spending all that energy instead of just going to sleep. You're spending all that energy to come clear back down that mountain to get back into the truck at 10:30 at night to get 4 hours of sleep.
Right.
To get back up to those elk in the morning, and it's just like. But therein lies the other side of the story. Well, all day long, you're packing around, 40 pounds on your back all day long.
That would suck.
For 7 to 13 miles. It's normally what we do in a day, is 7 to 13 miles.
With 40 pounds on your back.
With 40 pounds. Well, me, I pack. I got to have everything now. I got to have everything. So, yeah. But Cody can get his down to, what did he say, man? I think it's like 27 pounds.
That's
or
crazy.
Something like that for 5 days.
Yeah. Well, my day pack this year was a little bit lighter. I didn't have the tripod. I left the spot and scope because I didn't need it.
No.
I was probably down to 20 pounds.
20 pounds for a day pack. What are you taking? Are you taking part of an elk with you?
Maybe
in
15.
There?
Maybe 15. I don't know.
15?
I get hungry. SpaghettiOs aren't light.
What?
And so water. Water's heavy. I didn't bring any.
I'm not counting water. On those, on those
so water is like what 9 pounds or
7.3 a gallon.
7.3 a gallon. There
or
you go.
8.3.
There you go. So I don't carry a gallon with me. I usually carry 2 or 3 little water bottles.
Yep.
And that's it. And we make a half a day hunt, come back out where we were this year, and then we'll go back in. Or we'll make 2 or 3, 4 little hunts a day. And so I could go a little heavier. Plus we're using bikes and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's still fairly heavy for just day hunting.
Seems excessively heavy to me. Lots of weight. Lots
of
weight there.
I was happy to report that I did lighten my pack after our last podcast together.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Remember the rule? If you don't use it in 2 trips, get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things. Well, I don't have the rope with me because I'm not bear hunting, and I use that.
Kitchen sink. I took it out.
Yeah, I took the kitchen sink out.
Okay.
just less, altogether less this year.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and I can honestly tell you that we were getting into more elk way closer to the roads than farther back in. Actually, we did 21 miles one day and didn't see an elk. Or hear an elk behind gates. And then we go back, and then we go back that evening, and I'm in 12 different bulls bugling, and I can see trucks driving by.
Yeah. No, that can totally happen. And that's the whole thing about this whole, if you want to call it a movement, I guess, the backcountry movement, Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've been a place like in Colorado or somewhere, way back in there. You come around the tree and you're like, hey, bud, how's it going, man? And you're just like, oh, yeah, all the time. And to me, in my eyes, though, if you've worked your butt off to get where we are at, or, dude, because I know I'm exhausted. You know what? More power to you, man. I'm enjoying seeing you back here. At least someone else is here, right?
Yeah,
But nowadays, we run into quite a few.
Man,
people.
that would really mentally screw with me.
Really?
Being that far back in there, and I'm like, this sucks.
This sucks.
There's people here.
Yeah, but that's you just go one tiny little ridge and you're into brand new elk. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Distance of a bugle doesn't travel.
I know that where I'm hunting elk that have been spoken to, pushed,
lots,
seen humans. That you're basically almost hunting a freaking whitetail at some point.
One could argue it makes you a better hunter.
Maybe that's why I'm so good.
I think so. No, but you know what I mean?
Maybe that's why my freezer's empty this year.
Way more educated elk, you know? I mean,
I can tell you, it was a whole different dynamic this year, man. And
like how many bugles from humans did you hear this year?
A ton.
Yeah.
A ton. And some of those were on those 11-mile deep hunts, but they had bulls bugling back to them. So it was kind of cool, but I don't know. I feel like I can't make my judgment on backcountry based off of the hunt that we did. Right. Because, backcountry, we were still on the road, but we were like, 11, 14 miles deep or whatever.
We were talking earlier about Wyoming points, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 1 point. You'll have 2 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you draw Wyoming, this is my challenge to you, okay? We're gonna put it out there right now on the cast.
Okay.
So this is my challenge. So go to Wyoming. You don't have to do it the whole time.
Not this year, but next year.
Yeah, when you go to Wyoming.
Okay.
Could be 2-3 years. It doesn't, whatever you want to go to Wyoming.
Okay.
I'll send you either some places or just see where you're gonna go. Okay, I just want to
see if I day hunt it.
Yeah, just to see where you're gonna go, and then I'll pick. And you have to do at least a 3-day hunt.
Oh, you want me to backpack it?
Backpack it for 3 days.
Ooh.
3 days.
Yeah.
3 days out of your life. That's it.
I have a buddy that went over there this year, and he killed like a 330-inch bull over
Bingo.
there. And they were backpacking.
See?
So, but, if we'll put it this way. If I did it, first of all, grizzly bears. Okay.
There's no grizzly bears where I'm going to send you.
Okay. Well, then.
Okay, very few. How about that?
Maybe 1 or 2.
It's a stray. It's a stray.
Well, if I go over there, I doubt I'll be alone. I'm literally too big of a wussy to go do it by myself in the dark. Like, it just
by yourself?
Me. Yeah.
Nobody should elk hunt by themselves.
Well, it just freaks me out.
Ever.
It just freaks me out.
You should never elk hunt by yourself.
Well, I can tell you right now, I was testing out my shelter at camp. Right, like
I don't know what that means.
So my little shelter thing, the Jimmy Tarp's.
Oh, okay.
Shelter.
Yeah, your tarp.
At camp, tarp.
Okay.
But I was trying it out at camp because I got to test it out, right? I spent all the money on it.
Of course you did.
And I'm not using it the way it's supposed to be.
I'm wondering why you bought it, but yeah.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Well, I'm like, I spent money on it, I'm going to use it. So I used it, and I got, buddies over here in an RV or a camp trailer, and then my buddy right here next to me in a tent. And I'm hearing twigs pop, dude, like 10 yards from my head. And I'm like, now I'm all of a sudden, I'm like a footstep expert. I'm like, well, that's not a hoof.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's not a hoof. There's no, when it hits the ground.
Nothing solid.
I'm like, that thing is creeping right next to my head. And so I'm like, where's my keys? Okay.
My keys?
So my keys. So what I did, because my truck's like 20 yards away. It's how big of a
oh, you're backcountry, bud. You are backcountry.
So I got something creeping, and I'm like, it ain't a cow, it ain't a deer, it isn't an ungulate. right? It's
Okay.
not pause.
That's definitely a meat eater.
You always go worst case scenario with these things, right?
Apparently you are.
I did. So I'm like, okay, God, well, go Jesus. Where's my pistol? Where's my keys?
Someone's getting
shot.
shot.
I'm carrying a 380.
Oh, dear God.
And so something's probably getting shot multiple times. It's not going to die on the first one.
But it's going to make a loud bang.
It's going to lay. So I find my keys, and here's what I do. I put my boots on.
Dear God.
I crawl out of my cot, put my boots on, put my jacket on, grab my sleeping bag. I
Bold move.
Beep beep on my truck. Beep beep.
Get a little noise going.
I'm getting noise and lights flashing.
Oh, did you hit the alarm or just the beep
I did not hit the alarm because I didn't want to wake everybody up.
You didn't want to look like
I didn't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, good point.
And so I did that probably 20 times. I'm like beep 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 beep, and then I'm listening.
Might as well hit the
I'm
alarm.
listening just to see if the twigs are popping.
Okay.
Dead silent.
Dead silent.
Dead silent. I sit
Weird.
there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Disappears. So finally, I'm like, all right, I go beep beep, rush out to my truck, get in my truck. I sleep in my truck the rest of the trip.
Oh, dear. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so that's how uncomfortable I am with
So this
that.
challenge that I just gave you is going to be pretty...
It'd probably be the death of me.
This might be your last
I might have
one.
to bring some, what's that Valium that calm you down? You know?
I know a guy.
Some night sleep medicine, some
Get it at
Ambien.
cost.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
boy.
I can tell you that, you know, I know the more you do it, the more comfortable you get.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've camped and done all that stuff, and there's really no difference between what I was doing there versus camping. If I was in my wall tent, I would have been like, yeah, nothing's getting me. You know, like, it's just, I've done it in a wall tent.
Yeah.
I've never done it in a shelter. And
Oh, shelter now. We're calling it a shelter.
shelter, a teepee shelter. Or
Oh,
whatever.
now we're a teepee shelter.
Whatever they call it.
Okay.
Whatever they call it.
Okay.
Tarp. There you go. There's the term.
Gotcha.
And so I know the more I do it, the more comfortable I will get. And I know I'm not the only one that's afraid, because there's been like guys doing podcasts about being afraid of the dark or whatever.
No, it's a real thing.
Yeah, whatever I got to tell myself to feel better about it.
I'm listening.
But so yeah, I mean that's where I am now,
Okay.
and so I need to get over that before I go to Wyoming, where there's actually things out there that are 800 pounds that want to kill you.
Yeah,
Grizzly bears.
Not very many, but yeah, okay.
So, yeah, well,
So you're going to do it this next year is what you're saying. You're up in the ante. Good call.
yeah, there you go.
Good call.
I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it. But
Backpack up in the Elliott State Forest or something.
Yeah.
Drop down into
Can
a
you
hole.
still do that?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Don't think so.
Well,
And
don't tell
think
anybody then.
You can't find a flat spot either. I know that. So you're out on that.
I'll just go on Weyerhaeuser and camp on a landing or
There
something.
you go. There you go. With your lights pointed at the.
Well, I'll tell you
tent.
when I'm hiking and I'm going somewhere, it's not a problem. It's just when I'm trying to sleep. You know,
Sleeping's not good.
I don't know, man. But I slept so good in my truck.
Oh boy.
That you recline it all the way. I think I talked about this on one podcast with you already.
No.
You park on a hill, so when you lay your seat back, you're perfectly level, like you're on a bed.
No.
You put a sweatshirt in the crooks of in the pivot spot of your seat where your butt would, like where your hip would be.
No, I don't.
You put that under there, and then you're on a perfect bed. Add a sleeping bag on top of that, and you're like in the Hilton. Like,
I don't think so.
no, you're not. But,
I
but
would-
it's close.
I would argue
It's
the
close.
Hilton fact.
Well, there's no showers or anything, and my truck stunk. It probably took like 3 weeks to get the smell out. I had to get an interior detail to finish it off, but it stunk in there. But
And you're talking about a Toyota, right?
yeah, a little Tacoma.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
body's not built for a Toyota sleeping. the Toyota Hilton or
No,
whatever
you
you
wouldn't
call
survive
it.
in there.
No. Just
No.
go lay on the ground. How many people have been killed in the last, I don't know, let's say 6-8 months?
6.
Doubtful. I don't know what stories you're reading.
I know. But yeah, that's where I'm starting, and so
We'll have to do a hunt sometime.
Did you have those issues when you started?
Never have.
God dang it!
I've never in my life. By the time it's time to go to bed, it is good night, Jim Kite.
Well,
before
what would
I
you
even-
say? You were from Men Are Men and Sheep Are Scared?
Yeah, that's right. Super nervous, at least.
There you go.
Oh
So-
no, I've never ever had an issue with like even hearing noises or anything. I'm just
Oh
like,
man.
yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I had my backpack.
Usually it's a mouse.
Really?
Oh yeah, usually it's a mouse chewing on something around.
I had mice get into my suitcase
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
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 I had a suitcase. Yeah. That's right.
Cody, we were on that bear hunt a few years ago, and it was so awesome. I was sleeping right beside him too. We were just sleeping there. He'd wake up and just shine his light everywhere, and what the heck is going on? Something's on my hair. Something's in my hair,
Oh.
Pretty soon we're sitting there and hear this. They chewed through his pad right by his head. I mean, like 6 inches from his ear, and it just chewed a hole. The mouse did right through his pad, and down he went. I stayed like the whole time sleeping the same.
You're not convincing me on this
the same spot. I never had one issue. It was so awesome. Anyways,
yeah, you're losing me. You're losing me.
No. We'll do it sometime. We'll have to get out sometime, and we'll have some fun.
Well, that sounds good, man. I need to start hitting that area of it because I feel like I'm missing out. Everybody's doing it.
You're not missing out on anything.
But the front, I call it the front country because I got to have some term for what I do.
Sounds awesome.
I'm bragging about how close to roads I can kill an animal.
That's totally and that kind of touches on what I was talking about before. Like, dude, there is a definite zone in between the quote unquote road hunter, which is what you can see from the road, to the half mile in to that 3 mile zone. That honestly, is pretty profitable.
Animals I think they're kind of like easiest place of resistance when it comes to pressure, right? And so if you're getting pressured too far in, then they're going to come back where they're not, and they'll let you drive past them all day long.
100%.
Yeah, and I know over here log trucks, they're used to log trucks and traffic. They don't care.
The whole thing.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be said about that. And the last couple elk I've killed had been less than 200 yards from the road, like less than 150 probably. Actually, I'd go as far as I could have drove to one of them,
not terrible,
and then the other one was probably 120 yards. So
it's awesome.
That's pretty awesome, and you're not killing yourself. You can do it longer, easier on your body. There's a lot of benefits.
Dude, there's so many benefits, and I think it just kind of goes to the whole thing. Just to wrap this thing up. Mm-hmm. Hunt smarter, not harder. Isn't that the old adage?
Hey, I want to hunt longer.
Oh, there you go. Longevity of. There you go.
Yeah.
One could argue, both. Yeah, both sides of the
having
equation.
your air mattress popped, 10 miles in the backcountry doesn't sound easy.
We were from here to that wall from the pickup.
Oh, okay.
We just don't sleep in the truck like the Hilton, the Toyota Hilton. We're just out on the ground.
Each to his own.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, I appreciate you for having me on again, man.
Dude, it's been awesome.
We're going to have to revisit here, I'm sure, before season. So.
Oh, yeah. No, we'll do it. We'll definitely do it. People love it when you're on. So.
Good.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this one. Garrett will be back with us shortly at some point. We'll have to reminisce again and go over some more controversial backcountry stuff.
I'd like to thank DQ again once more before we close this thing up.
That's a huge deal for you, man.
$6. I'm on the health kick right now, and so we're having a little bit of a love affair.
Really?
Yeah, I ate it today because I was going.
Oh, you did?
I did, but I didn't.
Guilty pleasures,
I didn't eat the Blizzard. I gave that to Kim.
Oh, wow.
So, but I'm off that kick right now, so I need to toss him some business because me not going there is definitely costing him some money.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed if you want to see him around in a couple years.
Right. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
See ya.
All right, guys, that's this episode of the podcast. I had a great time. Thanks, Trent, for letting me come onto the show. And I'm sure they'll be uploading this episode on their podcast as well, Born and Raised Audio Experience. And be sure to check them out. They have a great podcast on theirs. And I always appreciate them being willing to collaborate with me. So outside of that, guys, appreciate you for listening. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.